Well, that almost got really interesting there for a minute, didn't it? Carson Meredith with you from the Wave Now studios on this Saturday night. It is 7:20 on this Wave Weather Alert Day, and we were humming along on this alert day. We had only had some lighter rain, a few heavy downpours, and just within the last 90 minutes, things got a little dicey, especially just off to our west, and we're still keeping a very close eye on radar over the next couple of hours because we have some spinning showers out there. At least we did. And we're going to have to watch those storms, make sure they behave through the rest of this evening. So we're going to keep the alert day in place for a few more hours. More than anything else, a lot of you see rain, but we've already seen a little rocky weather to our west about an hour and a half ago or so. So there's radar. Let's just jump right into it. I appreciate everybody hopping on the comments. I think all the notifications went out, so it should be good there. You look at radar, and it doesn't look that impressive, I know. But we decided to keep the alert day in place today for a couple of reasons. Really a combination of things. One, there was still that low-end chance for a few strong storms. When we say there's a low-end chance, that means it's not a big chance, but that means the risk is still there, right? Sure enough, we did have a few strong storms, and we're still tracking a couple of strong storms out there this evening. But we also kept the alert day in place because if we saw a lot of heavy thunderstorms today, that might cause a little bit of a flooding issue, especially given the fact that a lot of you saw 1 to 2 inches of rain yesterday. So we're going to keep that alert day in place for a couple more hours through at least 11 o'clock tonight, maybe midnight, making sure that all of these downpours behave. Now, usually at the top of the screen, right under where it says right now, you would see a lightning count on an alert day. But we don't have a lightning count. These downpours are truly spinning showers. Yes, some of these showers have been rotating this evening. Mainly off to our west. If you were watching us on the old school television during our 6 o'clock newscast, we did have a tornado warning for a short amount of time for Spencer County, Indiana, which does not technically belong to Wave Country. That belongs to our sister station, WFIE in Evansville. But a lot of you know Spencer County, Indiana, because that's where Holiday World is. And we did have a tornado warning issued just before 6 o'clock, I think. I'll go back on radar. Notice how that little cell right over the Chrisneat community, which is not too far from Holiday World, had a little hook with it. Had a little notch. Like you would see in a supercell kind of thunderstorm, right? But these were truly just spinning showers. And what's happening is you're kind of getting there could be a couple of things in play. I haven't had a deep dive in the analysis just yet because I've been so focused on radar, but one of two things could be happening with these spinning showers earlier. One of which is they could be crossing a frontal boundary that's stalled out nearby. And a lot of times when you have any kind of more robust shower thunderstorms cross the boundary, they like to spin a little bit. So that could be part of the problem here. But also there is a low pressure off to our west in Missouri, and that's going to move through tonight. That could be enhancing the shear just a smidge. But more than anything else, I think there's some sort of interaction going on with the frontal boundary nearby. And when that happens, you get just enough rotation where sometimes, not very often, but sometimes these showers can produce a little funnel or even drop a quick tornado. So there was that warning earlier just outside of our area for Spencer County, Indiana. I did see several photos in the Weather Service chat from the Paducah office of funnel clouds in Spencer County, Indiana, not Kentucky. If you're watching this in Taylorsville, you're fine. This is Spencer County, Indiana. And there was a confirmed brief tornado in Owensboro earlier this afternoon around 4:40 Eastern time, 3:40 out there in Owensboro. So, yes, little surprised. I'm going to be totally honest with you, but this is not out of the ordinary. Does it happen a lot? No, but from time to time, you get these odd interactions with these stalled out boundaries as these cells cross over them, and that could at least cause a little spin in the action. So that was a little over an hour ago. You notice now, as we go back to live radar, that all we're really seeing now is just some of those embedded heavy downpours. There's nothing right now that concerns me from a potential tornadic standpoint. So what's left of that earlier tornado warned storm is going through northern Perry County at the moment. Let me zoom in on that. And I'm going to spend a lot of time tonight looking at radar to keep you guys informed and to make sure that I'm not missing anything as we chat. But this is north of Leopold, basically between Leopold and I-64 there in Perry County. It's not an issue for Tell City, but it's just a heavy downpour. Again, there's no lightning with this at all. The most lightning strikes I've seen today is 2. So unique setups, to say the least. But that's all that's left of that storm that did have a tornado warning earlier, moving through Perry County. Next, I'm going to go to Breckinridge County, really Breckinridge and Harden County now, because this too was a spinning shower about 30 minutes ago. In fact, we'll go back on radar here and look at that. Ooh, that was around 6:47 tonight, so 40 minutes ago. And that little downpour had a decent supercell signature with it, right? A very tiny supercell, but it had the look. But while there was some sort of boundary interaction, the shear as a whole in the atmosphere is not that impressive. If we had a little more shear tonight, I think I would be on TV right now with wall-to-wall tornado warning coverage. But thankfully, we did not have a ton of shear in the atmosphere to work with. But nonetheless, still a decent little cell earlier near Sayre in Breckinridge County, near the Burris community north of Centerview. But you notice over the last 40 minutes, that downpour still has very heavy rain as it moves out of Breckinridge County and into Harden County. But there's not what little rotation was there. It's not overly impressive now. It's still there. Don't get me wrong. There is still some very broad rotation with this cell as it crosses into Harden County. So we're going to watch it. Just know this might be one of those nights where if this rotation continues to tighten up, we may have to end our discussion here. And I would have to run over to the big weather studio, our big studio, to do TV coverage. So just know this may end abruptly depending on how this cell plays out. Still some broad rotation, the reds and the greens, right over Highway 86. This is Highway 86 right here, Custer, down towards Dyer there in Breckinridge County. Go out towards Franklin Crossroads, wind its way up towards Rineyville. So this broad rotation is along Highway 86 there, moving out of Breckinridge County, crossing into Harden County. So for my Harden County friends, Tell me if you're seeing anything, okay? That would give me a good idea of what I might need to do with our coverage and just give me an idea of how the storm environment is playing out tonight. But this is really the only concerning cell at this stage of the game. There's some sort of interaction going on in that area of wave country, some sort of boundary interaction, it appears. So we'll keep an eye on it as it continues to push slowly, and I mean slowly, to the east at around 15, 20 miles per hour. Let me do a quick track on this. I want to keep saying storm, but it's not really a storm, guys. It's a heavy downpour that's trying to drop a quick tornado. Go figure. So this little cell would be near Four Corners by about 7:48. Four Corners, if you live near there, you're seeing some lighter rain, but we're focused more on the heaviest rain and the broad rotation when we're talking about these times here. So Four Corners around 7:48, Rineyville just after 8 o'clock, 8:07. Then it'll cross Dixie Highway in towards E-Town by about 8:25 this evening. And then should the cell hold together, it'll get towards I-65 and near the Colesburg community around 8:40 near the Joe Prather Highway. So that's really the only cell that I am still kind of watching just to make sure it behaves. It has so far, but it's sneaky. This is a sneaky setup when it comes to strong storms. So that's why we kept the alert day in place. We don't usually keep alert days in place when it's a level 1 severe risk, but today we just kind of wanted to play it safe, especially being a Saturday. A lot of you out and about today, I'm sure. And we still had that risk for some flash flooding too. And we're going to keep that risk around through about midnight tonight. So there are 700 of you watching on our social media platforms right now. And I'm just now going to start looking through the comments. So sorry for the delay there. Blue's watching. Good evening. Anita says, hey, hope you had a good time off. I did. Much needed time off. Good break. Thanks to the rest of the team for taking care of me last weekend so I can enjoy that time off. But wouldn't you know, it's 2025. I'm back to work and we've got severe weather potentially on a weekend, right? Crazy. Do you think the Lou City game will be delayed? That's a good question. Let's zoom out radar. Show you the big picture first. We've got widespread rain across most of southern Indiana. Just plain rain, that's it. I'm still watching this cell in Harden County. Trying to rotate a little bit, but nothing too alarming at the moment. So let's focus on the metro. That Lou City game, I believe, kicks off at 8. There's no lightning. All right, there is no lightning with this downpour moving through Louisville. We've got light rain west of I-65 here in the metro. East of 65, St. Matthews, Butyl, Okolona, Appliance Park, up towards Indian Hills, Westport Road, between the Watterson and the Snyder. Pretty quick dose of heavy rain right now. So I would not be surprised if we get some minor flooding in the typical low spots over the next few minutes here in the metro, east of I-65. So if you live out towards Tom Sawyer Park, Prospect, may get missed by the heaviest of the rain here, but Norton Commons, Anchorage, Middletown, J-Town, Fern Creek, Fisherville, Eastwood, Seatonville. Prepare now. I'd say in the next 5 to 10 minutes, we're going to have some heavy rain moving through eastern Jefferson County, right along the Snyder, Hirschmore Parkway too, Shelbyville Road, Blakenbaker, all of them. Heavy rain, quick little downpour rolling through. But as far as the Lou City game is concerned, there's no lightning. And in soccer, you can play in the rain. And it's just a lighter rain, still coming down, but it's not as intense as the rain here in downtown at Lynn Family Stadium as it is just off to the east. So as long as we don't have any new lightning strikes here in the next 30 minutes, I would expect that game to start on time. And if there is a delay, I think it would be brief. they should be able to get that game in tonight, no problem, at some point. Let's see. Excuse me. Here's another topic. Weather Geek says, hey, lost my hearing with the cicadas screaming in Red River Gorge. They're terrible. Goodness, they're terrible. Maybe this downpour moving through will shut them up here in the metro for a few minutes. Let's see here. Morgan says hi on YouTube. Scott says, glad you're back. Thank you. Appreciate you guys. Let's see. Hello there. Praying for calm tonight. Tina is in Campbellsville. So are we. So are we, Tina. And again, things are behaving for now, but some of these little downpours are trying to be sneaky on us. So we're going to watch it over the next little bit. Tanya's watching us in Hanover. Crispy Brisket. What's up, man? Over on YouTube. Good afternoon. If we're seeing rotation now, will that continue to be an issue throughout the evening or throughout the night? I think past midnight tonight, our severe weather threat is done. Once we see the sun go down, whatever instability we have will start to drop. And that should mean that these downpours will relax just a little bit. Now, while the risk for strong storms may be done by midnight tonight, that boundary is still nearby. And we're going to have a low pressure scoot through wave country overnight. That might give us additional showers and some thunder throughout the night. But I don't think there is a severe threat once we get past midnight tonight. You may get woken up by some thunder overnight. Likely not severe. Okay? And I'll be here all night. You guys know on Saturday nights I sleep here, literally. So if something happens, we'll be here watching it and taking care of you guys. But I don't see a huge severe weather concern past midnight tonight. And even then, the rest of the evening, I don't see a huge severe weather threat. But, Mother Nature makes the calls, and she's thought about throwing us a curveball a time or two this evening already. Judy says hello. All right. 800 of you watching. Keep it coming. Aaron, is Paoli going to get anything tonight? Not overly worried about any strong storms in Paoli. Really not much of anything in southern Indiana at all, other than rain. Now, if we have heavy downpours through the rest of the evening, we may have some spotty flooding issues here or there, area-wide, Indiana or Kentucky. But for Indiana in particular, I'm not too worried about severe storms tonight. Let's see. All right. Lots of comments. Sorry for the dead air. I want to pick out as many comments as I can, as I know you have some questions. Angela has a good question about Salem last night. How are our friends in Washington County, Indiana doing? You guys okay? It was about 6 or 7 inches of rain in a very, very short amount of time in Washington County last night. Horrible flooding in Salem. I'll be honest with you, Angela. I was sleeping through that particular storm because I had to wake up to be here this morning. But it was a very narrow amount of time where we saw close to 6 inches of rain, if not slightly more, in Salem and in Washington County last night. And that was kind of the thinking or the concern with any heavy rain today. Not necessarily 7 inches of rain in 2 hours, but any more significant amounts of rain could have quickly caused more flooding issues today. But so far, we have not seen that flooding issue come back. Let's hope that trend continues. Alicia, hello. Just had a heavy downpour move through Mount Washington. Thanks for the report. Francis on YouTube, thanks for being here on a Saturday night. I'm here every Saturday night, well, except last weekend when I was on vacation. In Cox's Creek, no rain yet. Give it time. There will be some rain through this evening and overnight tonight. Everybody's going to get rain at some point, but it's not going to rain every single second this evening and overnight. Okay. All right. A lot of you guys are, well, let's see. Danielle has a concerned mom question. I always want to take care of the moms here on our chats. Kids are on the way to the rodeo in Richmond. Richmond's fine right now. I will say there is some heavy downpours along I-64 in Shelby County. So I'm not sure when this rodeo is in Richmond, Danielle, but if they're heading down 64 through Shelby County, there might be a heavy downpour that they're going through. But there's no severe weather concern for now. And in Richmond itself, it's just some lighter rain. A lot of you asking to check on the Harden County storm again, so let's do it. Zoom back in on it. It's still trying, guys. It's not overly impressive. It's not. It looks meaner than it probably really is. But nonetheless, still see that hook trying to develop just west of Howe Valley. Four Corners, you're seeing some very heavy rain now. Heads up Rhineyville, heads up E-Town, obviously. This should go just north of Cecilia. This is not an issue for Upton or Sonora. Show you where Upton and Sonora are. Way down here at the bottom of the county. Right there. So this little cell is not an issue for you guys. It's trekking east. Going to cause a very heavy downpour in E-Town shortly. And my E-Town friends, Ashley, I don't know if you're still watching. I saw one of your comments earlier. Let us know if you're seeing anything. Let us know if you're seeing anything suspicious with this cell as it moves in. It's going to be coming in from the west and northwest. So if you can get your bearings straight in E-Town, that's where you want to look. No lightning with this still. None. Zip. It's still trying. It is still trying to spin something up. Again, guys, it's not a overly concerning downpour. But there is still at least some broad rotation in the upper levels of the atmosphere. What you're looking at here is kind of a higher level view of the winds aloft. When you look at the storm relative velocity, that kind of tells us if that rotation is getting a little closer to the ground. And there's not much rotation at all. It's all further up. And that's to be expected in an environment like this that has some shear with it, but not a ton. This is not out of the ordinary. Not out of the ordinary at all. But it doesn't happen very often either. So we're going to keep an eye on it. Spinning showers, they're the bane of my existence. I dealt with these all the time when I lived in Alabama, when I worked down there. So they can be very, very sneaky. That is for sure. Just making sure I'm not missing anything from the weather service. Yeah, they're still keeping an eye on this. They have a significant weather advisory out, or a special weather statement. Same thing. Basically saying, hey, this storm is, or this, I want to keep saying storm. This downpour may have a little wind with it. So we're going to pay attention to it a little more than we might normally on a night like tonight. So that's the main show in town as it stands. Tracy's watching us in Rhineyville, getting lots of rain. Yep, so the leading edge of the rain shield with this cell has arrived in Rhineyville, Tracy. So appreciate that report. Thank you. Thank you. So we're just kind of babysitting, guys. We are just babysitting the radar. Sarah has a good question, talking about how this has a special weather statement on it, this particular cell. What is the difference between a special weather statement and a severe thunderstorm warning? So let's think of it in tiers, okay? The highest level of a warning is a tornado warning, right? When we're talking about severe storms. Step below that is a severe thunderstorm warning. And then a step below that is a special weather statement. That means basically that the cell, the downpour, the shower, or the storm is not severe, but it has the potential to produce some sort of impactful weather, be it gusty winds, be it heavy rain, be it small hail, or in the case of tonight, a quick spin-up tornado. So that's kind of a special weather statement is kind of an initial heads up, saying, hey, Harden County, in the case of tonight, this cell's not severe, but it's wanting to be severe, so heads up, pay attention. It's kind of that first alert that this cell could have trouble or be trouble over the next few minutes. So that's a good question, Sarah. We appreciate you bringing it up because a lot of people don't understand that there is such a thing as a special weather statement. Austin says it's pouring buckets in Hurstbourne. I do not doubt that based on what we saw a few moments ago. Rita, lots of rain in Vertrees. Thanks for that report. Noah, will this cell be an issue for Shepherdsville? Probably not. It's going to probably be more of an E-Town issue at this point since it's moving due east. So that would be more of an E-Town issue, although I will say there are some more downpours trying to fire up in Meade County. One right here just north of Radcliffe, another one near Brandenburg. Those will be pushing east into Bullitt County over the next half hour. So be on guard for that. Noah, as you go through the next 30, 45 minutes, I'd say. Still no lightning with these guys. It's such a unique setup. Very, very, very odd, to be honest with you. Let me switch radar views because I want to give you the big picture of what the heck's going on. We do have an MCS, a mesoscale convective system, producing all kinds of severe weather in the deep south. That storm cluster started all the way out in Oklahoma overnight last night, and it is moving into South Carolina as we speak. Unbelievable. It is that time of year. It appears. For them, that's an issue for them. What we're going to have to watch as the evening goes on, you can see this boundary is nearby. And keep in mind, these fronts are computer drawn, so don't take the drawing location to gospel. The boundary's nearby. And I think that's part of the reason why we're having some of these spinning showers, is a little interaction with that tonight. It's really kind of a two-piece alert day this evening, as we've talked about. The first is the heavy rain flash flooding potential. Closer to the boundary you are, basically along I-64 and north, we'll need to make sure that we don't have heavy downpours repeat in the same areas over and over again. Or if we do, that may cause some flooding issues once again. So we'll watch that. I haven't seen any flooding issues so far. The second piece to this alert day puzzle is if we can get any additional downpours or thunderstorms to develop across southeast Missouri, southern Illinois, and western Kentucky. Those areas have had a little more sunshine today, so there's a little more instability to work with. And if any storms can develop in this area further to our west, they would try to sneak into our Kentucky counties this evening. That really hasn't been the case so far, but models do suggest that the potential is there. So we'll keep an eye on it. As we have already seen, we haven't even had any lightning or much lightning at all, and these downpours have still caused trouble already. So once this low can finally get a move on to the east early tomorrow, we'll start to quiet things down. We'll still have that chance for a few showers early in the day on Sunday, but we do not have to worry about severe weather or heavy rain on Sunday, thankfully, right? So that's the game plan, guys. I'll show you outside right now. That's from downtown, of course, where we just had that heavy downpour roll through. 72, our current temperature, with a dew point of 65. That is air you can wear. That is soupy. That is muggy. That is nasty, and I don't like it. But nonetheless, it is that time of year. So we're going to keep the alert day in place until midnight. Obviously, some scattered downpours and thunderstorms are around. Not much in the way of thunderstorms, but the chance is still there. And we'll keep that chance for some stronger storms until midnight tonight. After midnight, some storms will still linger because that boundary is still nearby. I just don't think there will be much of a severe weather threat once we get past midnight tonight, because whatever instability we still have off to the west and southwest will start to fade away with the loss of the heat of the day. So 68 is our forecast low tonight. Futurecast is actually doing a pretty solid job. It's overdoing the storm coverage a little bit across central Kentucky, but you get the idea. There's still that chance for these heavier downpours or storms to develop, mainly in the southern half of our area, our Kentucky counties. And any of those downpours or storms that develop could be on the stronger side. They may try to spin. They may have some gusty winds. And the heavy rain that they have could cause some flooding issues. So that's why we say today is a combination of things for our alert day that will stay in place until midnight. We go later into the night. This is 10 o'clock. Perhaps still that risk for some lingering downpours, especially east of Interstate 65. Sorry, I had to take a spammer out there. But you notice out towards Bardstown, Lebanon, Campbellsville, Columbia, maybe up towards Shelbyville and Frankfort, we could still have some of those heavier downpours around past 10. By the time you see me on our newscast at 11 tonight, most of those stronger storms should be pushing east towards Lexington, towards Richmond, towards Berea, towards London and Corbin. And while we still have that risk for some scattered storms overnight tonight here at home, I think the worst of the strong storm potential will be done by midnight tonight. Okay? This is not going to be a huge deal. It's not. But it's been a little sneaky all day, or at least the last few hours, and that chance is there for a quick storm to briefly go severe or maybe even tornadic. So we're watching it very, very closely. Again, all this until midnight tonight for this alert day. I'll jump to Sunday and Monday, and then we'll kind of go back to radar, because I want to hang around here and make sure these storms behave for a bit. Tomorrow's rain chance is not huge at all. It's 30%. And especially early in the day. The cold front, or the boundary that's stalled nearby, is finally going to move through as a cold front tomorrow. And that might spark a few showers again, early in the day especially. So here's Futurecast for tomorrow. 9:30 in the morning. It's not a ton. I'll just be honest with you. It's not. But especially across southern Kentucky, perhaps some scattered showers. It may not be a bad idea to grab the umbrella if you're heading to church or brunch in the morning, just in case. But as we get towards the afternoon, the main focus is really going to be across southern Kentucky, where that 30% shower chance will be. So that's the story for Sunday. And as we head deeper into the afternoon, any of those showers will finally start to push off to the east. We'll see a brief dry period, a very brief dry period, before we get into Monday. And I will say Monday is kind of trending towards maybe another alert day. I don't have it in place yet, but stay tuned. For the U of L game tomorrow, we've got game 3 of the Super Regionals. The Cards lost today, so they got to play a win or go home game tomorrow at noon. I think we're in good shape. Small shower chance, 20%. That is all, especially early in the game for that first pitch at noon. It might cause a minor delay. If we get a shower that goes right over Jim Patterson Stadium, it would not be enough for me to not go to the game if I had tickets. So go to the game, go have fun, keep a poncho handy just in case, but I really don't think you'll need it if you're heading to the Jim Patterson Stadium tomorrow. All right, on to Monday. Another cold front, right on the heels of the one that's going to move through tomorrow. As we get towards Monday afternoon, late Monday morning, like 10, 11 a.m. into the afternoon Monday, that front's going to sweep through. That timing would be favorable for a few strong storms. I don't think this is a major severe weather issue either on Monday, but the front's going to give the system the forcing that it needs to set off some of those storms, some of which could pack a little bit of a punch with heavy rain and wind again. Thankfully, this front is a fairly quick mover. Excuse me. So as we get into Monday night, we'll dry things out, and we'll have some cooler air move in as well as we get towards Monday night. The severe weather risk for Monday looks like this. The Storm Prediction Center did add a slight risk for our far southeastern counties, right there in yellow. So Green, Taylor, Adair. That slight risk was added this afternoon. And that's just because the timing of Monday's front will be during the afternoon. So peak heat of the day, decent forcing with that front pushing everything east. We may get a few strong storms, especially in our far southern communities, as we get towards Monday afternoon. Excuse me. Hang on a second. I'm going to get a drink here. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that. So that's for Monday. Slight risk for Green, Taylor, and Adair County. Right now, this is not an alert day on Monday, but I will say if that slight risk gets nudged a little further to the north and west, let's say closer to Bardstown, E-Town, if the yellow zone goes a little further north and west, we may have to flag Monday as an alert day. Should that strong storm potential go up just a little bit for Monday. Okay, here comes the 10-day. And then we'll go back to that storm in Harden County. So 81 tomorrow. Scattered showers, especially early in the day on Sunday. Should be a little drier heading into the afternoon. We'll watch that cold front on Monday. And then the middle part of the week, not bad. Warm, but the humidity levels will be tolerable for June standards with highs in the mid-80s, maybe upper 80s by Thursday, but the humidity will make it tolerable to be outside. It won't be soupy like it is today. As we get towards Father's Day weekend, unfortunately, another stormy setup. It's too early to get into specifics on that setup as we head towards next weekend, but I would start thinking about some indoor potential plans with Dad next weekend. All right. So that's kind of a quick look at the 10-day. I'm going to go back to radar. And I kind of want to just hang out here on radar because the cell's looking good again, which is not a good thing. So we'll get radar to load up here. Maybe. There we go. Some very heavy rain across still eastern Jefferson County, but now stretching into Oldham and Shelby County, Spencer County too. But this is the troublemaker that I have been watching for almost 2 hours now. Oh boy. It has a concerning look when you look at radar. Let's check the velocities on it. Yeah, we might have some trouble here, gang. Heads up, E-Town. Heads up, E-Town, Rhineyville, even Cecilia. Cecilia, it looked like it was going to go north of you. It might be turning right just a little bit. There's still some broad rotation. Moving out of Howe Valley to pushing east, heading towards E-Town rather quickly. So we're going to watch this here over the next few minutes to make sure that this does not go tornado warn, which it very well could. Let me check the storm relative velocity, and that rotation is certainly still there. Okay. Let's put a track on it. So it's moving to the east. It's still 15 to 20 miles an hour. So that would put the rotation close to E-Town in the next 20 minutes. It's a slow-moving downpour. Near the craft community at 8:09. E-Town 8:26. Tunnel Hills 8:32. Colesburg 8:44. And then Younger Creek by 8:50. All right. So we're still watching this. I'm going to stick with you here until I know that this thing is going to behave. Anybody watching in Harden County, let me know if you're seeing anything, all right? Even if it's just rain. But if more specifically, if you can see any potential lowerings on the horizon, don't play games with me. Just be honest if you see something. Make sure this thing doesn't continue to intensify as it looks like it might be doing. There's another downpour developing west of the initial one, right over Vertrees. So we got to check this one too. Nothing there yet. Okay. We'll watch that western downpour near Dyer and Vertrees on the Breckenridge-Hardin County line. But the main show is still the initial one that's heading right into E-Town. Okay. You're going to see radar full screen. I want to set something up here just to get myself ready in case we do have to go to severe weather coverage in our studio. Okay. All right. So we are ready to go if and when this potential warning gets issued. I turned my studio microphone on. I don't know if the folks in the control room can hear me. But if you can, be on standby. I might need to make a run for the studio here shortly. And I don't have my IFB in, by the way, if you guys can hear me in the control room. Okay, so it is 8:04. And we are still closely monitoring this miniature supercell, really, that started all the way in southern Breckenridge County at about 6 o'clock tonight and is still going, has had persistent rotation with it for its entire life cycle, and it's looking decent right now. It's looking decent. So We're going to watch it. Let's check that rotation again. Still there. Is it really tight rotation? No. But it's, excuse me, it's been persistent for a while now. So, yeah, I know I sound repetitive. Forgive me, but it's just kind of a wait and see game to see what happens with this thing and what the Weather Service might decide to do. Hang on just a second here. All right. Just getting my earpiece and everything ready in case we do have to go to the studio. Can you guys in the control room hear me? Okay, great. Thanks. Yeah, just be on standby. I'm going to stay in here until a warning comes out. Okay. We'll probably do the main studio since I got more resources out there. Thanks. For those of you watching on the stream, I'm talking to Brian, our director, just making sure we're all on the same page in case we do have to go into nonstop severe weather coverage here in the next few minutes. Let's check some comments here. Crispy Brisket, I'm tagging you in a picture on Twitter of the lowering. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah, so this certainly looking more organized. I'll tell you that based on the photos that I was just tagging in on Twitter. So thanks for tagging me on that. Cody might see a small wall cloud in Rhineyville. So Rhineyville, you are, see, there's Rhineyville. We're looking south and west to the rotation from Rhineyville. Meanwhile, back here in the metro, Scott says we got a downpour in Linden. Yeah, still very heavy rain coming down the eastern part of Jefferson County for sure. Travis makes a good point here. The rotation for the most part has been it's been pretty broad. It hasn't. Quite honestly, this is the strongest it's looked tonight, and even then, it's not alarming. We need to pay attention to it. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think there is a tornado on the ground right now at this point. Okay. So that's the thing. The National Weather Service doesn't want to issue warnings when the rotation is not alarming, right? Because they don't want to give you false severe thunderstorm or tornado warnings for that matter. They don't want to warn you unless they absolutely have to. And they're just kind of waiting it out like we are to see how this is going to play out. So we'll do some more comments here while we see how this plays out. Or wait and see. Kelly, are you by yourself on the weekends? Normally, yes, but I know the team is watching this from home, so if things get crazy, I'll get some help. So don't worry, we'll be watching it. We'll be watching it. Scott, why is there not a tornado watch? Good question. The tornado risk in general today was actually pretty low, and it still is pretty low. A lot of times when you have a tornado watch, remember, watches cover large areas at a time. Not just one county or one storm, they cover states or parts of states. And the risk for tornadoes today was not that expansive. It was not that widespread. So we didn't need that tornado watch. And so that's why there wasn't a watch issued. But you don't need to have a watch to have a warning. So there can always still be that chance, right? So yeah, that rotation's still fairly broad. It is a little stronger here on the last scan, just a smidge, not a ton, but St. John, Craft, Cecilia, this is going to be a very close call. Again, there's no tornado warning yet. There may not be one at all. There's no tornado on the ground. But this storm is certainly rotating. So Cecilia, I think the most intense part of the storm might just miss you to the north, but it's going to be a close call. So head on inside, let this downpour pass here over the next few minutes in Cecilia. If you're in E-Town, it's time to head inside. Time to head inside and let this downpour roll through. The storm is certainly still rotating, and we'll know pretty quickly, I think, if we've got more trouble on our hands as this thing goes right through E-Town. I'll go back to the regular radar. Ooh, I do not like this at all, guys. A lot of folks asking if this is going to go through Bardstown. The track would have it go right along the Bluegrass Parkway if it keeps holding on, if it keeps pushing east. So it would have it pretty close to Bardstown. So if you're in Bardstown, nothing to fret about right now. Go about your business still, but pay attention to this thing as it moves through Harden County, because if it holds together, it will go through Nelson County too. Let's see here. Leandra on Facebook asking about Marion and Washington counties. Let's zoom out. So there's Marion and Washington County. There's Springfield. There's Lebanon. Again, guys, I do think this downpour, I keep saying downpour because it's not a thunderstorm. There's no lightning. There's no lightning. Which, again, makes this such a odd setup, right? But if this downpour were to hold together, I think it would be more of an issue for Washington County as opposed to Marion County. So Marion County, don't let your guard down, but I think Washington County would be more of a concern if this thing holds together. Okay. So it's 8:15, and we're just waiting this thing out, guys. We're going to see how this downpour goes, see if it maintains its strength, see if it tries to intensify, and could we potentially get a tornado warning? Yes, that rotation has been consistent for 2 hours now, but it's been fairly broad, which means it hasn't shown a major signal of producing a tornado yet. But it looks good. It has a very, given the setup that we have today, which is not all that favorable for tornadoes, this downpour looks pretty good. It looks very organized. It does look like a miniature supercell. You kind of have the rain shield on the north side of it, the hook, the classic hook echo. If we're going to have a tornado, and again, we're not having one right now, but if we would, it would be right at the tail end of this hook echo, just north of Franklin Crossroads, going right between Craft and Cecilia. So if you're in Craft, you're getting torrential rain. There's not much of a hail issue tonight. There's not much of a hail issue tonight because it's so warm above our heads. But very heavy rain for sure. For now, the Weather Service is just still going with a special weather statement, which if you were watching our conversation earlier, that just basically means that the storm is not severe, but they're watching it. Okay. I'm going to see if I can get to our E-Town SkyTrack camera. My hands are a little bit tied in this studio because I don't have quite as many resources at the ready. Sorry for the dead air. So again, we're keeping an eye on this cell as it makes its way closer to E-Town. Not severe yet. Not tornadic yet, but it is rotating. It's certainly still rotating. That rotation is basically right between Craft and Cecilia. It's about to move into the western parts of E-Town. And again, I'm working to get our SkyTrack camera in E-Town turned to where we can maybe get a look at this thing as it continues to push to the east. All right. Appreciate you guys sticking with us here. And again, I'm just gonna I'm just gonna hang out here until this storm weakens, or we have to go on television for a tornado warning. All right. So I'll get back to the comments here in just a second, so bear with me. And let's see. Let's get this camera set up here. Again, we're still keeping an eye on this thunderstorm as it makes its way closer to E-Town. It's weakened a tiny bit on that last scan, which is good. All right, here we go. All right, so we're going to get this thing panned to the west from E-Town. Oh, yeah. All right. Let me show you the SkyTrack camera, folks, because you can see the lowering clear as day. Right there. So this is at, my goodness. This is right along Dixie Highway in E-Town. And what you're looking at is a pretty substantial lowering. In fact, Brian, I'm using the IFB from the Now Studio. Can you hear me? See if I can hear you. Might want to do an update here. Yes, I can. Let me get this camera spotted the right way, and then I want to hop on air for just a second when possible. It's not at this point, but I wanted to at least do an update after that break. Okay, thank you. Just count me down. Appreciate it. We're just getting things set up here in the building because we're going to do an update on the TV side of things. I appreciate all of you who have been watching our stream over the last hour or so, but while this storm is still not severe, it is certainly rotating, as we have documented throughout the afternoon or throughout the evening, and that is a clear lowering. This is close to Baptist Health Harden, I believe. And what you're looking at to the west, this camera is on Dixie Highway. We're looking west at a lowering from this particular storm as it moves eastward into E-Town. Now, I don't see a funnel or anything of that sort at this time. But keep in mind, the buildings, I don't know if that's a hospital building right there or something else, but that building is obstructing the view just a little bit. So I'm going to start off our update here for the television folks with radar, and then we'll get you right back to that live camera view, okay? Probably ASAP. Yeah, thanks. Brian, my director, just kind of telling me what time I can do an update on television. That's the great thing about streaming is we have a much more free-flowing conversation. We don't have to worry about commercial breaks or what show's on or anything like that. But given the fact that this storm is doing something, we're going to do a quick update here on the television side of things. If you're watching us on our live stream, don't move. You will not miss a thing. We're just going to jump into TV while also doing our live stream, at least for a brief moment, to give our friends in E-Town a quick update on what this particular downpour is doing. It is still rotating. It is not tornado warned just yet, but it likely will be, or it could be. It could be. I shouldn't say will be. It could be in the next few minutes or so. Okay. As soon as the local break is done, let's roll. Thank you. So we're about 30 seconds away from an update on the television side of things. Again, if you're watching us on the stream, do not move. You do not need to adjust anything. We're just doing an update for our friends who are watching us on Wave TV and NBC. "15 seconds away." I'll go quiet here for a brief moment. Good evening, everybody. Carson Meredith with you from the Wave Now studios. Time right now, 8:26. We're interrupting programming for just a brief moment. There are no severe thunderstorm warnings or tornado warnings in effect at this time, but we are keeping a very close eye on a downpour moving right into E-Town. And we call it a downpour because there has not been a ton of lightning at all with this particular downpour. But nonetheless, over the last 2 hours, really, this particular downpour has exhibited quite a bit of rotation with it. Not the ideal setup for tornadoes, but there's been enough rotation to where we've seen numerous reports of lowerings, of wall clouds with this particular storm. In fact, we're going to take you live now to our E-Town SkyTrack camera. This is from Baptist Health Harden, or near the Baptist Health Harden campus, right there in E-Town. What you're looking at live is a view to the west in E-Town of a wall cloud. A wall cloud is kind of a precursor to a possible tornado. I will say with this particular storm, we have not had any confirmed reports of tornado touchdowns. We have not had really many reports, if at all, of funnel clouds. We did earlier today with a series of downpours just off to our west, but with this particular downpour itself, we have not seen that as of yet. I'm going to try to pan the camera a little further to the left. Again, this camera is basically on top of the Baptist Health Harden campus, one of the buildings there. You're going to notice the rain starting to come down on the leading edge of this downpour. And unfortunately, some of the structures on the top of the building here where the camera is are kind of obstructing our view just a little bit. But we're going to keep watching the SkyTrack camera here over the next few minutes. And we'll just kind of babysit radar as well, because if this rotation continues to tighten up, we may get a tornado warning for Harden County very shortly. Haven't had that warning issued just yet, but it is something we continue to monitor. So this particular downpour, again, I say downpour because there's no lightning with this particular downpour, but it is moving right into E-Town, and you can see it looks like a miniature supercell that you would see in a more robust severe weather setup. This is not really the kind of setup where we're looking at significant tornadoes necessarily, but as we mentioned, this storm or this downpour has been rotating for quite some time. When we check the velocities on this downpour, you can see the reds and greens are packed together, if you will. So this storm still has some signs of broad rotation with it. But at this point, that rotation hasn't gotten tight enough to where the National Weather Service has issued a tornado warning. Again, there are no warnings in place for Harden County right now, but just to be on the safe side, we're going to stay with you here for maybe another 3 or 4 minutes for planning purposes in the building as this storm moves over E-Town. Let's put a track on this storm or this downpour. I keep saying storm because that's what we're so used to. But again, there's no lightning with this. This is just a rotating shower that is moving pretty slowly, around 15 to 20 miles per hour. So as we track this off to the east, it's basically going to go right along the Bluegrass Parkway, maybe just a smidge south of the Bluegrass Parkway. E-Town, the potential rotation is going to be on top of the city in about 7 minutes. You're already seeing the heavy rain in E-Town, but if we're going to have any rotation with this storm, it'll be moving over E-Town in about 6 minutes, close to 8:36. Then we'll get towards the Roanoke community. That's in northern LaRue County as we get towards the top of the hour, 9 o'clock. And then Nelsonville, there in southern Nelson County, close to the Bluegrass Parkway, we could see this possible rotation as we get towards 9:13 this evening. The time right now is 8:30. So again, we have a brief update here. Stick with this for a couple more minutes. As this particular downpour, which has had signs of rotation with it for quite some time, continues to make its way through Harden County, going right over E-Town as we speak. For the rest of you, we'll zoom things out. You can see that a lot of us are actually pretty quiet. Now, we do have some heavy rain at this hour in the eastern parts of the Louisville metro, Oldham and Shelby County in particular. That's just rain. Heavy rain certainly could cause some minor flooding concerns, but it's not enough to see significant flooding issues right now, and there is no severe weather as you get up towards I-64. The main severe weather potential, if we're going to have any, is focused on Harden County. Now, we've been focused also on the one downpour that's moving right over E-Town, but I do want to mention just to the west of the initial downpour we're watching, there is another downpour trying to develop some rotation as well. This is in northwestern Harden County near the Four Corners community. So you got the initial downpour right here, and then here's the second one further off to the west. We'll check the velocities on this downpour, and there's nothing too concerning at this point. There's maybe some very, very, very broad rotation, but nothing too terribly concerning at the moment with that particular downpour. The main concern continues to be the downpour that is rolling over E-Town as we speak. We'll do another check of that SkyTrack camera. And again, the wall cloud or the lowering with this storm is behind that, I guess that might be an HVAC unit on top of this building. This is, again, from the Baptist Health Harden campus, our SkyTrack camera. And as this downpour continues to push east, we may be able to see this wall cloud in view once again, once it gets past that obstruction there on the roof of this building. Very heavy rain coming down in E-Town ahead of this possible rotation. But again, so far, we have not had confirmed reports of any funnel clouds. We have not had any confirmed touchdowns of tornadoes in our area. We did have a tornado touchdown in Owensboro earlier this afternoon, but nothing like that so far here in our area. So again, very unique severe weather potential here. No severe thunderstorm warnings, no tornado warnings in effect at this time. So we're going to continue our coverage on our streaming platforms. You can find us on any of our Wave social media platforms, Facebook, X, whatever it might be, YouTube as well. And we'll have continuous weather coverage for you there on those digital platforms. For those of you watching us on the television side, we're going to send you back to regular programming, but be on guard. Harden County and E-Town, this storm is still showing signs of rotation, and a tornado warning may be needed should the storm intensify over the next few minutes. For now, our coverage continues on our social media platforms and on Wave Weather Now, Louisville's only 24/7 live streaming weather source. I'm meteorologist Carson Meredith. We'll send you back to NBC. Thank you. All right, so that was our update for our friends on the television side of things as this downpour rolls through. We appreciate you guys sticking with us, and we will continue to watch this. I'm not going anywhere. We're going to keep a very close eye on this as it keeps on pushing east. See if I can find this wall cloud. It's getting shrouded up by the rain. So the wall cloud's behind that, I guess that's the HVAC unit to this building. Unfortunately. But we had a good view of it, didn't we? About 10 minutes ago. So this storm is certainly rotating. I mean, obviously, it has been for hours, but it's right on the cusp of potentially causing more trouble that we do not want to see. So that's Dixie Highway right there at the bottom of the screen. We're looking south here. You can kind of see the cloud base right here. And that wall cloud is still behind that storage unit or whatever it is on top of this building. Again, no severe thunderstorm warnings at this point, no tornado warnings, but you know what? We're going to play it safe and make sure we give everybody the earliest alert that we possibly can with this particular downpour. Let's go back to radar for a moment. I know you guys love seeing the camera, but I got to look at radar, make sure I'm not missing anything there. And I tell you what, it's been consistent like this for a while now. It just doesn't want to intensify, but it also doesn't want to weaken. It's been pretty steady state here for a while. Again, a possible rotation moving into western parts of E-Town. Near the Burkhead School. Let's see. Let's highlight some roads here. This is Crucible Street Road. Here's Nicholas Street. Here's Highway 62 right here, going into E-Town, downtown E-Town. So western portions of E-Town, watch this, head inside. Let this thing roll through. Still not producing a tornado yet. We saw that lowering. We saw that wall cloud, though. So it may not take long to have some trouble, I suppose you could say. Brian, can you guys tell me when my next national break is for television? Whenever you can, no rush. So again, we're still watching this downpour continue to roll through. Extremely heavy rain on the northern side of this cell. Extremely heavy rain. And downtown E-Town, like right there at city center, is kind of getting surrounded, if you will, by the heavy rain on the northern flank and the rotation on the southern flank of the storm. If you're anywhere in E-Town, it's time to head inside. It's time to head inside. Even if this thing doesn't have a ton of lightning with it, it's certainly still menacing on radar. I don't think I've ever done a stream this long for storms that wanted to go severe, that wanted to go tornadic, but hadn't just yet. But I don't have a good feeling about it. So I'm going to stick with you guys. And I know you guys want to know the information too. So it's crossing, this possible rotation is crossing over the bypass as we speak. Get your bearings straight. Here's the E-Town bypass that kind of wraps around the city right here. Here's Dixie Highway. Here's Highway 62. Here's I-65. Bluegrass Parkway's right here. So this is going to go basically right over Highway 62 and head towards the Bluegrass Parkway. If you know anybody traveling on I-65 tonight in Harden County, I want you to call them and I want you to stop them. I want you to stop them at the Joe Prather Highway if they're going south. I want you to stop them at the Western Kentucky Parkway if they're going north. Nobody should be on 65 right now between the Western Kentucky Parkway and Joe Prather Highway. Just to let this thing get through. Just let it get through. Hopefully it just keeps spinning and spinning and spinning and doesn't do anything. But we need to watch it still over the next, well, who knows? Who knows how long it'll last. We go back to the SkyTrack camera, and we can't see much of anything now. So, that's another thing too. You're not going to see. I mean, this again is at the hospital, and I mean, where this camera is, it's just completely socked into the rain on the north side of the rotation. So we're not going to be able to see anything now like we did 10, 15 minutes ago. Okay, go ahead, Brian. What was the first one? 115 at... Okay, let's take that. Just a real quick. Thanks. Thank you. Thanks to Brian, our director, and the rest of our production team. Just give me an update. We're going to do another quick update on TV here in about 2 minutes. But again, if you're here on the stream, don't move. You're in good shape. Just sit tight. We want to make sure we get all of our audiences covered, be it on the digital side of things. And you got to remember, there's quite a few folks that still watch the old school TV. So we want to make sure that they're safe and informed as well. So we'll do another TV update here in about 2 minutes. And we will continue to watch the storm. Or downpour. Goodness, I want to keep saying storm. But it has had no lightning. It's had no lightning with it whatsoever. As it's moved through E-Town, as going back all the way to Breckenridge County, it hasn't had any lightning with it. Maybe 1 strike, 2 strikes, but that's it. The cell to the west, up here near Four Corners in Rhineyville, it has struggled to get its act together. I think what's happening is this cell is really robbing a lot of the energy. Is kind of taking away the energy from the other cells that are trying to develop around it. You see near Colesburg, kind of another disorganized cell trying to develop. Okay, so typically when you see bright greens on velocity, that usually means big trouble. Here, though, the bright greens don't match up with where the rotation is, okay? The rotation is really, yeah, it's crossing I-65 right now. So there hasn't been a ton of change with it. It's still rotating, but no tornado is imminent, I don't believe, but we're not going anywhere. We are 30 seconds away from another update on the television side of things. So if you're watching us on the live streams or on our social media platforms, do not move a muscle. We're just doing a quick update here for our friends who are watching Wave TV to keep them informed of this very unique situation down in Harden County tonight. Stand by. Good evening once again, everybody. Carson Meredith with you from the Wave Now studios. Time right now, 8:42. We continue to monitor this downpour that's moving through E-Town at this moment. Still showing some signs of broad rotation. Again, let's be very, very clear. There are no severe thunderstorm warnings or tornado warnings in effect at this time. But this particular cell that has moved right over E-Town over the last 15 minutes continues to show signs of some broad rotation. So we want to give you a quick update on where that situation stands at this point. We have had a lowering with this downpour, a wall cloud, but no funnel clouds or no tornadoes at this time. That rotation is crossing I-65 as we speak, and it's moving very slowly to the east at about 15 to 20 miles per hour. So you'll notice the track has it really over rural areas of Harden County. It's basically going to go right along, maybe just south of the Bluegrass Parkway over the next 15 to 30 minutes. We'll have continuing coverage for you on Wave Weather Now, Louisville's only 24/7 weather live stream, as well as all of our Wave social media platforms throughout the rest of this evening. Most of you right now just seeing some light to moderate rain, but we'll watch this cell in E-Town and Harden County closely throughout the evening. I'm Carson Meredith. Let's get you back to NBC. Thank you. Any updates from here on out, guys, we'll do in the main studio if there's wall-to-wall. All right. So it is 8:44. And let me go back to the comments, because I know a lot of you are a little concerned about how this is all playing out tonight. We appreciate the 1,300 of you watching us on our social media platforms right now. And that doesn't even factor in those of you that are watching on the Wave Weather app or the Wave News app right now. Let's see here. Emery says just moderate rain in Rhineyville. Okay, great report there, Emery. Thank you so much. And you guys in Rhineyville really the main cell is way east of you. What you're dealing with now in Rineyville is that second cell that is continuing to weaken. It tried to get its act together, but I really think this main cell that just went right over E-Town has kind of stolen the show. It's taken a lot of the energy from the surrounding downpours that have tried to develop, which is good because that would keep from all the other cells from getting out of hand, right? Let's see. Let me zoom things out real quick because we've been so focused on E-Town. But I do want to give you a view of the rest of the area because a lot of us are just seeing, I tell you what, a lot of us aren't seeing a thing right now. And you're wondering what all the hubbub is about, right? Well, we've got fairly dry weather right now for Bedford, Jasper, Paoli, Tell City, Corydon, up towards Salem and Seymour. Looking pretty dry. We've got some lighter rain across Jennings County, Indiana, Scott County, Indiana, up towards Madison and Jefferson County, Indiana as well. Just east of Louisville along I-64, we have a pretty widespread pocket of heavy rain where you see those yellows and oranges across Oldham County, Henry County, Shelby County. Shelbyville, you're getting soaked right now with very heavy rain. Basically from Shelbyville all the way to Georgetown, Kentucky, along I-64 is not good right now. Very heavy rain. This is likely the kind of rain that drops your visibilities quick, where you can't see your hand if you stuck your arm out in front of you. That kind of visibility would be really low. But none of this action is even close to severe. Not at all. It is just heavy rain. But that's part of the reason why we still have the alert day in place, just to make sure that you all are aware that heavy rain may lead to quick flash flooding, given the fact we've already seen quite a bit of rain over the last 2 days. So heaviest rain now continues across Oldham, Shelby, Franklin counties into southern Henry County too. Plain rain, heavy rain, but nothing severe. The only severe concern we have continues to be this little cell that is moving through Harden County. It's clearing E-Town now. It is clearing E-Town. Slowly, but it is. I'll go back to the SkyTrack camera, and you can see the backside of this downpour. I keep saying downpour because there's no lightning. Let's shift the camera to the east a little bit. And what you're going to see is the rain shield on the backside of this storm. Downpour. Whatever you want to call it. So this is Dixie Highway right here. That's Dixie. Again, this is basically from the Baptist Health Harden campus. Just checking some other info. Make sure I'm not missing anything. Okay. So that's Dixie Highway there at the bottom right corner of your screen. You look east. I can't tell if this is a wall cloud or if it is just the edge of the rain shaft, if you will. But you can still see that very, very heavy rain continues to move east out of E-Town. And for now, that's all it's been, is heavy rain. But we did see that wall cloud. We did see that lowering about 20 minutes ago as it was moving into E-Town, going right over the hospital. So we're not going to say all clear just yet, as much as I would love to, because I'm starting to lose my voice. But again, we'll stay with you here for a few more minutes just to make sure this storm does not intensify again. Boy, it won't quit. I tell you what, it will not quit. It's crossing I-65. The rotation has crossed I-65. And it's going just south of the Bluegrass Parkway. If you live in the Roanoke community, now we're going to start talking a little bit about LaRue County, northern LaRue County. This really isn't going to be an issue for Hodgenville at all. Hodgenville, Buffalo, Tanner, you guys are way down here. This downpour is going to stay well north of you, okay? This will be an issue mainly for Roanoke. If you know anybody that lives in the little community of Roanoke in LaRue County, give them a heads up. Text them, call them, let them know that there's a downpour moving in, and it has a little rotation with it as it keeps pushing east, about like so. This will also be heading towards Nelsonville in Nelson County. I'd say in the next 30 minutes or so. And we're just going to ride this out a little while longer, maybe another 20 minutes, 20, 25 minutes. And then hopefully it'll weaken because we are getting close to sunset. Hopefully it'll start to weaken as it loses instability, and we can calm things down for the rest of the evening. We appreciate you guys very, very much for sticking with us tonight. Let's go back to the comments here. All right. Brad, you asked a few minutes ago about Bardstown. I think this cell, you're going to get the northern part of this cell with heavy rain. If that, I will say if it decides to keep going more east like it is now, the worst of it would move south of Bardstown. The rotation would move south of Bardstown. Now, if you're in Bardstown, you got to watch this northern part of the downpour because you may have a good dose of heavy rain moving in. I guess would that be Highway 62? I think it would be. Yeah. So that northern downpour may make a run for Bardstown, give you a quick dose of heavy rain here in about 20, 30 minutes. But I think any rotation would stay south of Bardstown at this point, Brad. Good question. Let's see here. Todd, all alone? Did you draw the short straw this weekend? I guess I did. Since I was off last weekend, this is my payback. Ay. No, it's hey, you know what? This is just part of it, you know? It's just part of it. Summertime storms can be very sneaky, guys. They can be very sneaky. I can't tell you how many times when I was working in Alabama, there would be a day where it was like, 20% chance for a shower storm, no big deal. Boom, tornado warning. I can't tell you how many times that happened. It was several times. Something similar almost happened today, but so far so good. Let's see. Crispy's asking about the velocity. Let's check it because the main cell is losing its structure a bit. It doesn't look nearly as impressive as it did a few minutes ago, which is good. but there's still some broad rotation with this particular downpour. South of the Bluegrass Parkway, mainly. Right here. Right in here. And it is going to make a pretty close call to Roanoke, near Nelsonville, near Lyons. Let's see. That's Highway 52 between Nelsonville and Lyons. That's Highway 583 between Younger Creek and Lyons. So if you live along Highway 583, if you live along Highway 52, time to head inside. Let this rotation move on by, and hopefully it doesn't drop anything. So yeah, that rotation is certainly still there. Persistent. It has been very persistent today. This looks like a straight line wind issue in Colesburg, potentially. Little punch of wind. Yeah, there's not rotation with this one. This northern downpour has moved out of Colesburg. It's crossing into Nelson County. It's going to go just south of Lebanon Junction. It's going to move right over Boston, right over Highway 61. So this is the one I was talking about earlier that might make a run for Bardstown. So this one right here, going right down Highway 62. May have a little wind with it, just a little bit. So we'll watch that northern part of this downpour too. Let's go back to the west. And that western downpour that was over Rhineyville and Four Corners is gone. Just some showers. So that's good. So we are really down. Let me zoom out to make sure I don't say something incorrect. Yep. We are down from a severe standpoint, a potential severe standpoint, to these two cells right here. Look how small they are. It's crazy. Such an interesting setup tonight. This southern one has been the main show. Excuse me. Very heavy rain over Roanoke in northern LaRue County. That's going to cross through the northern tip of LaRue County towards Nelsonville. New Haven, this is not an issue for you guys at all. Balltown would be next in line if this downpour holds. And then possibly into Washington County, Kentucky. Specifically the western part of Washington County, Kentucky. Not Indiana, Kentucky. So that's the one we got to watch still for some rotation. The northern part near Boston is going to go right down Highway 62 towards Bardstown. So it'll be time. It'll be time to switch you over to the Bardstown SkyTrack camera here in a moment. And let me do that right now. So we'll get the Bardstown camera ready as this little cluster keeps pushing eastward into Nelson County. E-Town, you're all good. Any rotation has pushed east. Still some showers around E-Town, nothing too heavy, but the rotation concern for E-Town is gone. If you live east of E-Town along the Bluegrass Parkway, hang tight for a few more minutes so we can get this thing a little further out of Harden County. But E-Town itself, you are good to go for the rest of the evening. Okay? All right, let me get the Bardstown camera pointed to the west. We'll take a look at what we might have. Forgive me for the dead air. Trying to get this camera fixed around. All right. And we will take you to Bardstown. All right, so this is looking west. Normally you're looking at the heart of town. We've adjusted the camera to look west here. You're not really going to see much, quite honestly, because the rotation is going to stay south of Bardstown, and this is just rain more than anything else. Heavy rain, certainly, but we'll still give you that view as it moves in. So I think what we will do is we will stay on until about 9:15. And then I'm going to rest my voice for a little bit and get everything ready for our 11 o'clock newscast tonight. Okay, so we'll hang tight for about 15 more minutes. And then we'll wrap it up for this evening. A lot of you getting a good bit of dry time right now, which is good. And the only potential severe risk we have right now is with this cluster that is moving out of E-Town and now about to cross into northern LaRue County, but more than anybody else, Nelson County. And the downpours continue to weaken just a bit. Rotation's still there. It is. It's really noisy, though. It's really, really noisy. Noisy in the sense that it's not. There's not a huge severe concern right now. There's not a huge tornadic concern. But we'll keep watching it for another few minutes. And we'll still watch it even after we wrap up our stream, our live stream here tonight. But as we start to see the sun go down, we should start to see that threat diminish. Okay? Let's see here. Go back to your comments. Brittany says it's just starting to rain in Bardstown. All right. Yeah, that adds up. Makes sense. Back to radar. Yeah, some of that steadier rain has indeed moved into Bardstown. So appreciate that report. Brittany, thank you for watching. Mark, does it look like to you that this cell is cycling? Not really. Honestly, I think it's weakening. I think it's finally out of gas. I think it's finally out of gas. That's why we're going to stick around here for a few more minutes to make sure it doesn't cycle again or re-intensify. But right now, it just looks like it is starting to finally run out of momentum. Is everyone west of I-65 clear for the night? We're clear from the night when it comes to severe weather. Yes, west of 65. Could there still be additional showers and storms that roll in tonight from Illinois and Missouri, as you see out here? Yes, that is still possible. As this low pressure moves in, kind of pivots its way eastward, we will start to see more showers and perhaps a few thunderstorms. You might hear some rumbles of thunder overnight tonight, but I think any severe weather risk would be long gone by the time we get to midnight tonight. So perhaps some thunder while you're trying to sleep overnight tonight, but the severe threat for west of I-65 is done. All right. Travis says we should call those things mini cells. I mean, that's what they are. That's what they are. That's what's been so remarkable about this, or just so interesting to watch. We don't get this very often around here where you have these spinning showers, especially in a non-tropical setup. That happens a lot when you have a landfalling tropical storm or hurricane. We deal with that from time to time where you get these showers that rotate because of the shear from that former tropical system, right? But you don't get it too terribly often on a setup like this. So certainly an interesting evening. That is for sure. Sarah says, thank you for the coverage. Of course, it's what we're here for. We are able to keep you guys informed without interrupting too many shows on TV for those who still watch the old school TV. I say old school because a lot of people don't watch TV anymore. Anyway. Mark asking again, will those storms in Southern Illinois be our weather for tonight? Yeah, if we're going to have any thunderstorms tonight, they would not be severe, and they would be the ones in Illinois. So we'll watch those. Again, I think we're in good shape here. I'm going to hang on here for another 8 minutes until about 9:15. A couple more radar scans, make sure these downpours are actually weakening at long last. Brandy says 2 inches of rain with that downpour that just went through E-Town. Wow. And, that's what we've been concerned about, not only with the strong storms, obviously, but you guys down near E-Town saw close to 2 inches of rain yesterday. So now you got another 2 inches of rain tonight. Be on the lookout for some flash flooding, or at least, if nothing else, minor flooding in the low spots. If you're going to be out and about tonight, maybe you're working a third shift, maybe you're going out tonight. I don't know. It's Saturday night. Just be careful. Watch out for some ponding on the roads, especially if you saw these heavy downpours earlier tonight. All right. Todd, tell the boss he owes me a steak dinner for this one. I don't know if he's watching. He probably is, but I wouldn't be opposed. I would not be opposed. Sean says Bardstown getting some good rain, nothing major. That's good. Yeah, it's just a quick downpour. It looks like now moving through Bardstown. So I think we finally hit that point now as we get in deeper into the night where all of these downpours, these spinning showers are finally winding down. We lose the instability and we get to hopefully sleep tonight. Hopefully. Let's see. All right. Let me run through Futurecast one more time so you guys can get a good idea of how tonight's going to play out. Oops, wrong one. Hang on. Wrong map. Here we go. So, you see those downpours continuing now. Obviously, this model is overdoing the amount of downpours we've seen, but it still gives you a good idea of how they played out tonight. And we will continue to monitor those storms coming in overnight from Illinois. I don't see a major severe concern. I really don't. It'll be the middle of the night by that point, and we won't have a ton of instability. I'm trying to give you a longer look at future casts. It goes later into the day tomorrow. Come on. Gotta love technology. All right, here we go. So again, we will, yeah, I mean, again, you might get woken up by some thunder tonight, but I don't think we have to worry too much about severe. So let's hope that trend holds. Showers certainly still on the table throughout the early part of the day on Sunday, but as we head into Sunday afternoon, we should quiet things down a little bit, which is good. All right, guys, that'll do it for tonight. I'll do one more radar check for everybody, and then we'll go from there. So still some steady rain across our far eastern counties. Henry, Shelby, Franklin, pretty heavy rain, in fact, over Franklin County right now. We might get a flash flood warning for you guys out near the state capitol here shortly. Most part now, just some lighter showers. What's left of those spinning showers earlier that went across Breckenridge and Harden County. Now just some downpours, just some plain old downpours, not spinning downpours across Harden County, moving out of Harden County into Nelson County. So Bardstown, Balltown, basically if you live along the Bluegrass Parkway, be on the lookout for a quick dose of heavier rain here over the next 30 to 45 minutes or so. I know a lot of you are, excuse me, looking at the new SPC outlook. They did kind of redraw the severe weather map for tonight. You see that marginal risk is there. They're just doing this to cover themselves to make sure that none of those storms in Illinois intensify. So that's basically the risk we've had all day. They maybe nudged it a little further north with this update, but you know, there will be some showers and storms tonight, overnight tonight. Yes, there will be. But I don't think the severe weather risk is too terribly high. But as you guys know, I literally sleep here on Saturday night. So if something happens, I'll hop right up and we'll be off and running again if we need it. But hopefully we don't. All right. That's going to do it, guys. I appreciate you tuning in the last couple of hours. Hopefully you have found this helpful and informational. And it got really interesting there, didn't it? But fortunately, we did not have to worry about any tornado touchdowns, and that is good. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. You see that marginal risk for tonight. Low in chance. I'm not too worried about severe weather overnight tonight. You may get woken up by some thunder. Yes, you may. And should those storms decide to misbehave, I will be here to track them for you. But other than some loud rumbles of thunder, I think we're in good shape for the rest of the night. You will see me again tonight on TV on Wave News at 11, and I'll be here all day tomorrow as well. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a great rest of your Saturday night.